Good day, folks, and welcome back to the channel. And today I had a bit of a surprise as I got the opportunity to try out a brand new freewheeler, which I was actually not planning on riding. But before we get to that, we have a viewer bike to check out. This is Gary's 1995 Heritage Special. It has just over 5,000 miles and is stock except for Vance & Hines exhaust and the air cleaner. Now, Gary also says he's a Saskatchewan Roughriders fan, which is the football team here in Regina. I, however, am not a Roughriders fan. I follow the NFL rather than the CFL. Anyway, I won't hold that against you, Gary. So thanks for sending that in. And if you would like to see your bike in a video, send me a pic and I will get it up on the channel. My email address is in the description to this video. Well, here we are out at Prairie Harley Davidson, just outside of Regina, Saskatchewan, and this is the 2024 Harley Davidson Freewheeler. Now, I was not expecting to do a video on this machine, but it just so happened that this guy had just come in and had been PDI'd and was sitting outside when I got to the dealership. And they said if I wanted, I could take it out. And, well, I'm not going to say no, so here we are. This is obviously one of Harley's trikes. It is almost like a Road King up front with two wheels and a trunk in the back. This trike is in the base billiard gray and comes in two other color options, vivid black and two-tone alpine green with vivid black. The Freewheeler only comes in the black trim. This trike comes with the 114 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 engine, making 90 horsepower and 119 foot-pounds of torque. The tires on this bike are Dunlop Harley Davidson series with a 130 on the front on a 19-inch wheel, and the rear has two 18-inch wheels with two 15 tires. This bike also has a wheelbase of 65.7 inches. And this is a very heavy trike coming in at 1,130 pounds in running weight and comes with a 6-gallon fuel tank. And with a unit this big, you're going to need some good brakes, which is why you have dual disc brakes in the front and single discs in the rear. It also has a parking brake as well. The Freewheeler has a large trunk in the back that holds a little over 2 cubic feet of storage. And this trike also has a reverse gear, which is something that I'm not used to, but let's get on it and try it out. So I took this trike out on a couple of slow, quiet roads to start, which was a good thing as my first impression was an awkward feeling being on this unit. Now, when I hunted when I was younger, I rode ATVs or four-wheelers, and although never a trike, it does feel somewhat the same, just with a lot more power. Also, I was riding on trails and gravel at that time and not on paved roads or highways. This trike took a little getting used to, as I was used to leaning into a turn on a bike where it's not as needed on this. Another thing that took some getting used to was not putting your feet down when stopped. And just by habit, I found myself several times putting at least one foot down at stops. Also, you have to remember that this has a wide back end to it, and you almost forget that as you don't see it. Something like that could cause a problem on turns or trying to go around something on the road. The handling on this was a little different. As I said before, you really don't have to lean into a turn as much as just steer. And for as heavy as it is, you definitely do not feel it as you're not having to lift it off a side stand or hold it upright. It's very stable. However, I did find that it drifts side to side a little bit on the highway. I was told that this was due to the width between the back tires. They are not as wide as your standard car. This being the case, the wheels do not always follow the grooves or contours on the highway made by cars in that lane. This means that the tires are not always sitting level, causing the trike to wander a little bit at times. Now, I'll also mention the reverse gear. To operate that reverse gear, have the trike running and in neutral with the park brake off. There is a button on the right side hand controls that is both your start and your reverse. You'll see a small R on that button. Press the reverse button on your controls and hold it until the R shows up on your speedo gauge. Once that R indicator is on, you are now in reverse. Just push that reverse button to go backwards. And one thing of note, when you're using this gear, when it first goes in reverse, it's quite a jolt, so be prepared for that. Also, the reverse uses a lot of electrical power, so I would not use it too much, only when you absolutely need to. The power on this trike is adequate. It is not mind-blowing or anything like that. As I said before, this is a machine that weighs over 1,000 pounds, and the 114 engine is only putting out 90 horsepower and just under 120 foot-pounds of torque. The power is going to be a lot more noticeable on a smaller model than this. Now, that being said, you won't have an issue getting up to highway speeds, but you're not going to win any races. The comfort on this trike is excellent. The trike has an upright seating position, and the seat itself is quite comfy. The trike has floorboards, which are always nice, and this model has mini apes much like the Road King Special. For a guy like me at about 6 feet tall, it's a very comfortable height. You could definitely put a lot of miles on and not have to worry about comfort at all. The suspension on the front is a 49mm dual bending valve, much like the Road King, I believe. And the rear has hand adjustable emulsion suspension. It's nothing fancy, but works just fine. The braking, as I said before, is a dual disc up front and single disc on the rear. So there's not going to be an issue stopping these nice cast aluminum wheels that this bike has. The parking brake on the left side down by the footboard also holds just fine. This trike comes with a large waterproof rear trunk. The door opens from the top and is quite sturdy. As I mentioned before, it has a little over 2 cubic feet of storage, so plenty of room if you're looking at taking a bit of a trip. The lighting on the Freewheeler is a dual halogen headlight and incandescent tail and signal lights. Your gauges are going to be somewhat like the Road King. You have a large analog speedometer with your digital tach, odometer, trip A and B, fuel range, and gear indicator. You're also going to have an indicator bar underneath the speedo, and the locking ignition switch is on the dash as well. And also like the Road King, the fuel gauge is in the left side gas cap. This trike also comes with rider safety enhancements such as ABS, electronic linked braking, traction control, drag torque slip control, cornering enhanced ABS, cornering enhanced electronic linked braking, and cornering enhanced traction control. So to conclude, the Freewheeler is an interesting machine. Definitely not something I would look at purchasing at this point. However, if my knees end up giving out at some point, this would probably be what I would buy. It would be perfect for someone who can no longer hold up a heavy Harley, or for someone looking to do some two-up traveling on something more stable than just two wheels. Now, before I go, I have to give a big thanks to Prairie Harley Davidson in Emerald Park, Saskatchewan, which is located right outside Regina, for letting me take out this trike. It is very much appreciated. Prairie is a locally family-owned and operated dealership As such, they are an independent dealer, and let's face it, there are not many of those left. So if you're in the area or you want to check them out, I will leave their contact info in the description of this video. And until the next time, we will see you later.